Yes.
Yes.
Next item is old business. Part 9, House. I want to bring up, we talked. Education, climate control wire, stuff like that.
At this point, I have not went any further with it. I was off on vacation in September, and my mother is short-lived, and so I have been preoccupied, so to speak.
Problem.
Yep.
We're on this. Brought up.
I'll do.
Okay. Next item is attachment to our consideration. Lettering, including utilities concerning a wellhead. The letter and the map are provided for our consideration, taking action. Everybody review that, see what we're talking about.
Mm.
Know what their plan.
Blake, it's basically, they just want to be informed of any new rezonings or any construction or whatever in that area that would be non-compliant, so to speak.
There's a lot that goes into that. Next item is new business. Question by DSIP LLP, their builder, rezone the property located below a highway. Forestry agriculture. Developer, 4-apartment building, placed several structures on the property. 2 properties that are put together to make one parcel. Lot is zoning regulations. Discussion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I've got a question first. That question I have. 2 apartment. How do we? So attach this property.
Yes, yes, they will be combined. That lot line that's showing now for that present parcel at C2 will be removed. And so the whole parcel, yeah, the whole parcel will be C2 when it's done.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Next item on the business, request from Rex Calfee, Ray Calfee, on the property located map 043 parcel. Forestry agriculture, FAR, industrial. I want. Request possible warehouse, industrial apartment, Butts, Cross, City of Cleveland, industrial requirements, zoning regulations, requirements. Discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll bring up to mention the 25-year growth plan that the county and city has come up in with agreement. There is a portion of this that apparently is attached to it, where that area is actually deemed to be for residential use only. My question is whether we take that into consideration or not. Do we really need to be spot industrial areas in a highly residential area? So with that, I'll make a motion to not accept it or to deny the deny it.
Deny the request.
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a second? We got a motion and a second not to approve this because our 20-year growth plan calls for this area to be a light residential development and not a commercial property with the county and the city both in the growth plan.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to point out that it's, while it's a part of the packet that comprises the Bradley County Comprehensive Plan, it is a part of the packet that was never approved by the county commission. It was never adopted by the county commission. It was adopted for recommendation by this body back in 2013, but it was never adopted by the county commission. My opinion, I sit in meetings all the time. We desperately need more industrial land. If Doug Berry were here today from the chamber, he would tell you that he gets calls every single day, and the biggest issue from preventing him to continue to do the great job that he does by attracting industry and jobs to Bradley County is the lack of land. 10 years ago, when the county commission, along with the city of Cleveland, helped develop the Spring Branch Industrial Park, a lot of folks thought that was a joke, thought it would never fill up. Well, all you got to do is drive down there and see it's filling up. I respect my fellow commissioner, Commissioner Hughes, and it does show in the future land use plan, and it's just that, it's a plan. It's not a law, it's not a regulation. This body has been sporadic in using this plan for our judgments over the years. The county commission did not choose to take it on because that's what they thought of that particular plan. My opinion, and I can't make I guess I could make a substitute motion, would be to approve this rezoning because, first of all, according to our bylaws, we're governed by our zoning regulations, and as we've already seen, it meets those zoning regulations. I know we've got residential property in the vicinity, directly across the street, and on the entire left side of Michigan Avenue as you go north, it's all industrial manufacturing already. So I think it's unfair to say that we're spot zoning. I think the only catch here is that it goes against a 12-year-old plan that was never really adopted. I've sat up here for a while, and these are tough decisions because I'm sure we've got folks in the community that don't want to see it. They don't want to see something across the street. I know there's residential development that's going in over there, but I also understand the need for significant need rather for more industrial land. And somebody could say, well, it doesn't need to be there. It needs to be somewhere else. If you know somewhere else, please step up to the plate because I'm sure the county and the city, along with the Chamber of Commerce, would love to talk to you about that land as well. But I'd like to hear from, I don't know who's here from I see Mr. Calfee. Could you come talk to us about, this is your property that you're, I assume, going to sell, is that correct? If you'll come up to the microphone to speak, please. Could you tell us a little bit about what's going on? You requested this you requested this rezoning, but for what purpose?
Well, my father purchased a farm back in the 60s. Had farming operation on that for all these years. Rex, my brother, I, Ray, our farming operation has moved primarily to Polk County. Cleveland has grown up around our farm with the industry I just mentioned, west side of Michigan Avenue, long ways up and down Michigan Avenue. We just look at that rather than farming operation as investment property. We have a buyer like to buy it and have it in light industrial use. Our desire is to sell that property now to the potential buyer, and it needs to be rezoned so that he can make warehouses, have it in light industrial.
So you mentioned warehouses. Can you tell us, or someone with you, tell us what's going to be there? It says industrial park, but what's going to be there if your sale goes through?
I'm Blake Pierce. I'm with Keller Williams here in Cleveland, and I would say 95% of everything I do is in industrial warehouse space. And I'm here representing my client and seller and just discussing this. As Mr. Lewis has said, there is a great need for industrial space. I get calls if I had 500,000 square feet of industrial space right now, I could fill it here in Cleveland. That's how many calls, and it's just, I get a call and I'm just like, do you have 60,000 square feet? No, I don't. You know, do you have 100,000 square feet? Even have somebody looking for 200,000 square feet. They want to be in Bradley County, but just don't really have anywhere to put them. So I'm here just to say the need is great. There's a huge demand, and just trying to find that land, it's just, it's hard right now. So people like Mr. Calfee, who's had farms all their life, they want to sell their property, and it's just, we're in a position to where we got to make something happen if we want to continue to bring, growth, jobs to Cleveland, Bradley County, bring, manufacturing or whatever that might be. But it's a huge need, and so I just think that it'd be great to get this rezoned and move forward with a development that's going to bring warehousing and probably some manufacturing. It would be light manufacturing, but everything's perspective right now. But putting multiple buildings on that property, sizes are to be determined. There is some preliminary site plans that have been drawn just to show what could be on there, but that could change depending on what clients, customers come about that want that space.
So let me ask a question. Are you under contract for sale?
Yes, we are.
Is this
Yes,
a
and
contingency?
It's contingent upon the rezoning to industrial.
This might be a question for you, Mr. Calfee. If the county does not approve your request for rezoning, what's your next step?
Still be up for sale. Hopefully it can be rezoned into light industrial. If not, it still be up for sale for potential buyers.
Have you considered annexation into the city?
That would be fine if that could be done in the future.
My thought continues to be that this is a demonstrated need, the industrial space. I think that looking at that future land use plan that was not adopted by the county, but was suggested, that's a fair argument. But that is a plan that this body has not followed consistently over the years since it was brought to the table. So I don't think there's precedent that we have to go by that. No disrespect to the city, but they could easily walk out the door today and go request annexation, which would be contiguous, and the county would have no say over what happens with this property whatsoever. And so, I do have some concerns. For instance, I don't know where you're going to put entrances and exits for this facility, but both of the roads out there, I'd imagine you're going to have some trucks coming in and out. I'd like to see some effort on the part of the developer to put in a deceleration lane or look at traffic issues that might cause a safety concern out there. Those are the kind of things that we have no control over, no say over. If we deny this and they go down the street to the city and annex, those are decisions that get made by different bodies. And so I'll go ahead and make a substitute motion that we approve this. I think it's a demonstrated need. I hate to tell a personal property owner what they can and can't do with their property. So I'd make a substitute motion that we approve this.
Is there anybody else got anything to say about the property, for or against? Come to the podium, state your name. Got 5 minutes.
David 857 Wilkinson Road. All due respect to Calfee. I know them. They're nothing lived out there for over 25 years. Currently, there's residential development, or either starting or there, 3 sides of this property. To your point, Lewis, you talk about not having control, and correct me if I'm wrong, city has control of Michigan Avenue and Wilkinson Road up to a point. So they would have to, if it's developed, then they would have to conform to city entrances and exits. I don't know how that works. I'm not versed. I do think that we probably do need more industrial. I can't argue that. All that, we've got places in Bradley County that currently have that. I don't think this is the place for it. I don't think you stick industrial or that type of property in the middle of a residential area. And that's, in my opinion, that's what you're doing. I don't think there's a lot of thought has gone into this. And I know everything's contingent. To the gentleman's point, they're throwing this out there, and this is a moving target. They can change it. Once you approve it, let the genie out of the bottle. So I would ask that you respectfully deny that. And I'm sure there's other residents. This thing came up pretty quick for me, and I go in and out that road every day. I got kind of caught off guard. I would appreciate all of your consideration.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. Anybody else?
Corbin Road, go out that road, been there for 22 years, go out in and out that road every day. I agree we need more industrial space, but it needs to be in an industrial area. You know, we've got a 300 house complex going in right there on the north side of Wilkinson, and we don't need more tractor trailers right there in that area. I mean, you got to have a space for them, but that's just not the spot. I mean, like I said, we got to be more consistent on industrial areas and residential areas. So we're thinking that's in a residential area. You go out there and you build your life there, and then you turn it into an industrial. Makes no sense.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Claytown. I been in the area quite often, and feel that take away from the actual of the area. I understand there's industry across the road, pulling out from home to also tight squeeze. Your line of sight further than it already is. Not be what would be best for Bradley County.
Okay. Yes.
I don't think we really voted on this is gonna be industrial or not. We turn it down, they'll have it in that city, they'll own it industrial, because it joins city industrial. We just voted on whether we wanna give it to city or not. I told out that growth plan is not a requirement, that's a record. Really can't call it zoning. Industrial right across the road, it's still industrial.
Mr. Chairman, let me add too, and these are, anytime we hear from the community, especially when they're against, anybody that's been up here long enough knows it's difficult and it's hard. And, you know, we have to remember, and if our county attorney was sitting here, she would remind us that when we vote up here, we have to follow the law and we have to follow our zoning regulations. And when something is allowable by a zoning regulation and we deny it, it has to be for a good reason. Can't just be, unfortunately, it can't just be because there's more people in the room that are against it than are for. That's legally, we're legally required to vote this way. So if we deny this, and I think the vote's going to be on the substitute motion first, but if we deny this or deny, let me back up. We're making a recommendation to the county commission, right? So if we vote to make a recommendation to deny, and then the county commission also denies, I'm not a lawyer, but we better have a good reason for why we're issuing a denial recommendation. It cannot be arbitrary, and as badly, and I will have a different tune one day when something pops up in my backyard, I'm positive. But having been up here, unfortunately, that's the difficult position that we're in, that sometimes we've got to make the right legal decision. It may not be the most popular one in the room.
Okay, I've got something to say, and And I know I'm on this commission, but I've got a personal interest in this, and I will not vote. But I own the property across the road. I'm spending 14 or 15 million dollars out of my pocket to make this an industrial development. The people I have sold this to, they're going to spend $80 million or more building the houses. That's almost $100 million investment.
Industrial.
Totally residential.
Residential.
Every bit of it's residential. So we're spending that kind of money, and I think we need some consideration about putting trucks and warehouses and stuff right across the street, and with that kind of investment that we've made.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
even if it moves in the city, the one thing that I do definitely see is he's gonna be paying more taxes on that property. The second thing I see is he's gambling on whether the city's gonna move that industrial or not. They will probably look at the same growth plan. The other is I'm looking at this property and I realize there's probably property around it that's industrial, but the only property that's touching this is commercial. It's not industrial. I still go with the thing I hear all the time is we need more land for residents. We need places for people to live. And this area is encircled with residents. I don't see putting an industrial area right in the middle of a residential area.
Then after that, he had problems that they wanted to restrict his time to work. He was already there for years. And then they put the residentials across the road from him, and it ended up causing problems. He was back in looking for another place to try to move his business. There's a major residential going in across from this now. So when they put that in there, how much complaint are we gonna get from all of them to restrict that?
Stage fright now. When I was researching this, I came upon the minutes of the city council meeting dated January 10th, 2022, where they approved their tract to be residential low density. Now, I've not been out there and really looked at it, and I apologize for not doing that. Is any of their tract currently? There's a little corner down there that's got some industrial in it, but the major tract is residential, the larger portion. There's a map online that really shows that.
That was in 22.
January 10th, 2022. Can't tell it from this map, but down in the lower corner were two little tracts, and then this was all residential.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments about this properties? We have a substitute motion to approve this in a second. So we're going to call that an amendment to the motion. That's what we're going to call this, okay? So we'll vote on the amendment first. So, all in favor to approve this property, say aye. Or Janie, call the roll.
Okay, we're voting for the amendment made by Adam.
Adam, yes.
Okay, Janie Bishop, no. Doug K. Wood, Mel Griffith, Mark Heron, Mike Hughes,
No.
Keith Jones, Adam Lewis,
Yes.
Lake Mantooth.
I need to recuse myself. I got a personal interest.
Okay, we have 2 for and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against.
Okay, motion fails. We have a motion and a second on the table from Mike Hughes. to deny this? Call the roll, Janie.
Can I ask a question?
Yes?
No.
Call the roll, Janie.
Okay, this is to deny, correct?
Yes.
Janie Bishop, yes. Doug K. Wood, Mel Griffith, Mark Karen, Mike Hughes,
Yes.
Keith Jones, Adam Lewis,
No.
Blake Mantooth.
I need to recuse myself. I've got a personal interest.
Okay, we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against, 2 for.
Okay.
I got, yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So the request is going to be denied. Next item of business, request by John, and I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Preliminary plat approval of the property located at 1100 block of Weatherly Switch Trail Southwest, shown on map 097 parcel 052, to divide a 25.45 acre parcel into 20 lots. This property is zoned forestry, agriculture, residential, FAR district, and there's no plan change of zoning currently. Any discussion? Anybody here represent the property? Could you come to the podium, please, and just kind of give us a 5-minute or less overview, okay? No.
Well, I'm half the owner. The other half is this handsome gentleman over here, Mr. Creel.
Okay.
So we own the property equally, 50.
Okay.
So this is land that is partially cleared. It's just has a lot of road frontage around, and so we're looking to create mostly some larger acreage lots. We find that a lot of people are looking for anywhere from 2 acres is really the ideal for them. We have some smaller ones that are 3/4 of an acre, which kind of match what's across the street in the Broken Arrow subdivision. But we have a lot of our lots are 2 acres, which are would be real popular for people who want to build. Kind of keep it a country setting, heavily treed with a lot of old Bowater pine trees out there. So I think people have a lot of privacy, even on some of the smaller lots. You have a lot of privacy between them.
Okay.
Any questions?
Anybody have any questions?
Walked every inch of that property multiple times, so know it well.
Okay. Did I hear a motion?
I'll make
We got a motion and a second to approve this. Janie, call the roll, please.
Yes.
Yes. Next item of business, at our February 16th, 2023 meeting, Mike Hughes made a motion to move the meeting times from Bradley County Regional Planning, for the Bradley County Regional Planning Commission, which originally was meeting at 6 p.m. in the afternoon, to the third Thursday of each month at 12 noon for a 6-month trial period. We're at the end of our 6-month trial period. So we need to make a motion to either go back to 6 o'clock or stay at 12 o'clock, one or the other.
Make a motion. Or at noon on the 3rd.
I second that.
We got a motion and a second to keep it at 12 o'clock, noon, the same third Thursday of each month. Janie, call the roll, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Anybody got anything else that needs to come before this body? Okay, we'll call this meeting adjourned.